So we're bringing in Joshua, Haynes, and Sabine Flechet. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Sabine. Hopefully I did. And they are general partners at Masawa VC out of Berlin, Germany. Germany in the house. Let's go, baby. Germany in the house. And Masawa invests in seed stage European startups catalyzing mental health and wellness. We're going to bring Joshua and Sabine to the stage. Welcome. How's everybody doing? How you doing?
Hi. Very good, thanks.
Oh. Yeah. Did I pronounce your name correctly, Sabine?
You did. I mean, it depends on the country. No, but I lived in the US. I lived in New York for 5 years. So I had all the versions of Flechet, and then I had all the versions of Sabine. Actually, even Sabine is not even pronounced the same way in Germany. So, and German is in the house, but you have two expats
right.
in Germany.
How do you pronounce it?
Flechet.
Flechet?
Flechet.
Flechet. Flechet. And the first name?
You don't pronounce the T, Sabine.
Sabine. So I got Sabine right. Flechet.
Yeah.
Very good. Because you're also from France, right?
Exactly.
All right, cool. This is exciting. So we got 13 minutes. I got a lot I want to get to with you guys. And we're going to hear to talk about how and why you are investing in mental wellness resources for your poor co-founders. So let's get right into it. Tell me about how and why you're investing in the mental wellness of your poor co-founders, please.
Ladies first.
Yeah, no, I can start. I mean, I've been in the VC industry for the past 8 years, and I've seen the toll that mental illness or not taking care of the well-being of the founders can have on the portfolio. I mean, I was previously in a food tech fund, which was investing in digital solutions for the entire food value chain. So think of the digital solutions for restaurateurs, for retailers, for hotels, like gastrotech, and then COVID happened. Fun. So you can imagine, the pandemic, what it did on these founders who were trying to sell directly or indirectly to the stakeholders. From one day to the other, no more markets, no more anyone to sell to. I had to fire their teams. And I was the first institutional investor on that cap table. I remember conversation then, which were not at all about, go-to-market strategy, about internationalization, nothing at all. It was not business related. It was emotional. It was about how am I waking up the next morning to fire my team? How do I sustain for their well-being? How do I actually tell my wife that we can still pay the rent next day? And I felt for the first time, really, for me, I was not equipped at all as a VC to talk about so many emotions at the same time. And I felt, how can I help them? I'm not a coach. I'm not a therapist. And at the same time, there was such an emotional, difficult situation. And so for me, that was kind of the revelation that it's a key success factor to the business, right? If you're not taking care of the mental health of the founders, they are going to probably burn out. They're going to create toxic work environment. You're not going to be able to solve conflicts. And most of the founders have conflicts between themselves at some point. Actually, 65% of startup failure are due to some types of conflicts in the team. And then you also assume as an investor that your founder is automatically, naturally a good leader, like the perfect CEO, right? Not at all. Everyone needs a little bit of help on leadership skills, right? So if you actually are prepared to invest and to nurture to that human capital, the people behind the startups, then you are able to reduce the failure rate. You are able to create a good working environment, better retention. You are able to create good leaders and to sustain a business longer, right? And so for us as VC, that's perfect because that means less failure. You cap your downside scenario, you have better returns. I mean, we talk about VC as being a people business, but we forget the people behind the business. So yeah, that was kind of a long speech.
I love that answer.
Take.
You feel very passionate about that, I can tell. And Joshua does too. Joshua, your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, so when we set up Masawa to invest in mental health related companies, right? So we're looking at everything from mental illness to mental wellness to social determinants of mental health, because we believe squarely that mental health in and of itself is an underlying determinant of so many of the existing crises we have, the injustice crisis, the climate crisis, the leadership crisis, because a lot of us haven't dealt with our own stuff. or we haven't dealt with either as children, things that happen in our childhoods or that happened in previous generations.
Let's figure out how our parents messed us up.
Yeah.
Wait, did I just say that out loud? Sorry, I didn't say that out loud.
I certainly understand. But it seemed a bit disingenuous to have a fund that's only focused on investing in mental health as an outcome and not as the process. And so that was a no-brainer for us to set up what we call the nurture capital approach. When we're investing in founders, we're not only investing in their businesses thriving and extending their financial runways, we're investing to extend their emotional runways as well.
Amazing. And you guys are taking money out of your management company fees to do it, which is incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Crazy.
Yes.
And we're not rich. We don't have tons of wealth behind us. We haven't inherited from tons of family monies, right? We're just normal people, and we believe that we need to share the burden.
Yeah.
And to provide a safe space and a secure base so that they can actually, as Joshua said, thrive emotionally.
Yeah.
And we know that they can't pay for this, right? Why would you ask someone who is building a company, who is putting all his financial, emotional, family resources into setting up a business? Yeah.
Well, we were all in, right?
Exactly. We don't have more to put in.
Yeah.
And so that's why for us, it's like, it's portfolio management. It's adding value. It's what we can contribute. Of course, we're not coaches, we're not therapists, and that would be a conflict of interest if we were to do this ourselves. So we have a community, a roster of leadership experts, of founders, coaches, and these guys, we pay for the services from our management fee. So we won't pay for like indefinite time, of course, but it's a 12-month program, which we co-create with them, and then which we match them to the type of services, the type of coach they need. It can be one-on-one coaching, it can be co-founders coaching, can be a therapy, it can be a tools that you implement in the organization for the organizational health. So it can really, it's a bespoke, very creative, because we really learn during the due diligence what they need and what they're interested in. And then we pay. We have a budget set out of our management fees.
Exactly.
Incredible. This is a great comment by Doug. It's a little long, but I think it's good.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up there so you can read that. So next question is, what types of wellness support have you seen work best for founders in your portfolio? I know you guys are just getting started, but any signals or anything like that you're seeing so far?
Yeah, exactly. So it is early for us. We have just a number of companies that we've invested in and we've started the program with. But we think is most powerful is the fact from day one we're talking about founder well-being in the due diligence, in the negotiation. When we're sitting as a board member or a board observer with other co-investors on board, talking about founder well-being and how things are going. What's the human capital risk that's going on? And I think that's what founders, of course, turn to us, and it also allows us to get great terms and deals and duration of terms and deals because we have this human approach. But I think that's what's most exciting, especially because we have a double-edged sword of investing in founders that, at the end of the day, anyways, are focusing on mental health.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite helpful.
So that's a real key differentiator for you guys, if it sounds like.
Indeed.
Yeah, and also I think the format really depends on the team. You know, as much as I do that, you will only kind of get along with one typical coach, or you would only meditation would work for you, or sports will work for you, or breathing techniques. So it's something that we don't see like a one standardized approach that works. It's really bespoke. For example, for one of the company, we've installed one founder coaching, so not for the two, but for one, because he has the largest team and he wants to kind of get to a leadership level where he can prioritize and manage his time correctly. And then for another company, we're doing mid-level management because the mid-level management is very young, and so they need to kind of step up into more of a leader heads off, because they will have to manage a bigger team. So it's quite different, but at the end of the day, it's just like, what do they need? What have we learned during the due diligence that are keys for their development so that they can thrive as a leader as long as possible? Because I think someone said earlier, it's a marathon, it's a sprint, but it's also like plenty of sprints.
It's a marathon of sprints, is what I said.
Exactly. And so you need to prepare for this, and your performance will adapt depending on what you need and what is best for you. Like, people react differently to different types of formats.
I love that. I'm so excited y'all are here. talking with us about this. I really am.
We
And
are too.
yeah, thank you so much, Joshua, for raising your hand at that in that
I had
conversation.
to. I was thinking, I had to put, as Sabine says, the stinky fish on the table.
The stinky
that's,
fish.
Put the
The
stinky
stink-
fish on the table.
The stinky
I,
fish.
I learned this at a high performance leadership training at IMD. I thought it was an English phrase. Apparently not.
Put the stinky fish on the table. So what resistance have you seen from the industry when discussing founder mental health, and how do you address that concern?
What have we seen? I've seen people don't want to pay for it. So investors saying, well, our management fees are so kind of little, we can't afford to pay for these types of services. And that came from VCs that were on their phone 3, 4, 5. Huh? So with a stack of
it's almost like they just don't care, right?
Yeah.
Am I imagining that or no?
No. Yeah.
Sabine, are you agreeing or no? You don't want to say anything. You want to stay out of it. Look, I'm not trying to be
put the
messy.
sticky fish on the table.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to be messy. But I mean, look, as somebody who's going around to raise money for this work, and naturally, I'm reaching out to those same types of people you're talking about, Sabine, and they're just like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "For reals?" They're like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, "Huh? Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Maybe because they haven't gone through the entrepreneurial journey. I mean,
this is a good point you make here.
We're not operating entrepreneur, right? We're setting up the fund. That's our first fund. And so we're running into the ups and downs the same way entrepreneurs are running. Like, we don't get paid that much. We have helped our salary because, the market has been difficult to fundraise.
Yeah.
We work just the two of us, and we haven't recruited any team members as of now because we don't have the financial resources and the means to do this.
Right.
So, I mean, raising a fund and the first of its kind is also an entrepreneurial journey. And so I think
you guys are founders too.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, not in an operational way. We don't have so many people on the payroll. We're not building a product which is like tangible, but we know we go through the same challenges. We also need to sell. We also need to convince people, and we also get a lot of pushback. Slaps in the face sometimes.
Lots of no's.
Can be hard.
Yeah.
So, and I think like your comment, Doug, about performance. I think we need to live like athletes. It's it's a lot about like your ability to face failure, criticism, people who deny completely your passion, what you want to build. But it's also like, how do you build your resilience to all this? And I think we've been living through this for the past 2 years as we've been building Masawa, so we kind of realize what a founder also go through. And some of the VCs, they've just have had a good position, haven't had to raise so much, or they were not in the first vintage. It wasn't easy. They managed to raise when the period was a bit more bullish. I don't know, but it's just not something that they're interested in, and which is a shame. And then see also.
Yeah, and we also see from super traditionalists that sometimes this idea of mental health of founders is soft or not core. We've heard sometimes that, well, if the founder can't, if you can't take the heat, don't stay in the kitchen.
Yeah, you guys didn't see the conversation with Techstars CEO David Cohen, did you? That was the first convo we had.
No, I was listening in.
So Bobby Franklin is up next, and he's backstage right now, and he's listening to this conversation. And Bobby's the president and CEO of the National Venture Capital Association, which is really important. Like, if there's one question you had for him, or thing you like him to consider as he does his work, like, what might that be?
I think we also we talk a lot about the founder well-being, but I think it's a waterfall. Like on the cap table and on the financial returns, the founder well-being is just purely pressure that is being put from the top down, right? So what about the well-being of the investors? What about the well-being of the LPs? Because all these trickle downs actually onto the founders. So
he's shaking his head. Yes.
If we were to provide more from their well-being, I think it would be an industry change. We would need provisions,
amazing,
that go all the way up.
Yeah. And what can, for example, what can Bobby do specifically with the LPs to champion these, I don't know, anything from standards to rewards for founders, for funds focusing on this? I think there's a lot that can be done, but I agree with Sabine. It needs to be top down.
Amazing. Wow. This is so good. Well, we're at time. I appreciate y'all so much for coming from Germany, Sabine and Joshua. I look forward to being in touch with y'all real soon. All right.
Thanks, James.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks, Django.